get to verse 23, and it's all in its proper context with verses 21 and 22. Go to verse 23. Look at what he says. He says, Jesus says, whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters. Verse seems kind of out of place. First, he's talking about demons. He just delivered a man that was demon-possessed with a mute demon. Now he's getting these questions. He goes through all of this, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he says, hey, if you're not with me, you're against me. Immediately after Jesus makes clear that he has power over Satan, he states, whoever is not with me is against me. Let's camp here for a while, because this is where I'm good comes in, and I'll connect the dots and draw the bridge quickly. Jesus actually mentions in this verse two categories of people. Number one, those who oppose Jesus are his enemies. How many of you would agree with that? Those who oppose Jesus are his enemies. Everybody would agree with that. That's just kind of common sense. Yeah, if you're against Jesus, then if you're against God, then you're the enemy of God. But there's another category that he mentions here that most of us just kind of overlook. Yes, there's the enemies of God, those that are against God, but also those who are neutral are the enemies of God. Let that sink in just for a minute. We'll talk about it. Those that are neutral, in other words, those that say, well, I'm not really against God. I'm not really against God. I'm just not for God. How many of you know somebody like that? Right? We've got family members like that. We've got friends like that. We've got neighbors like that. We've got co-workers like that. They're not against God. They're not Satanists. But I want you to look at the words of Jesus, because his words are really the only ones that really count. Jesus says, yeah, I have some enemies out there, some people that are obviously and boldly against me. He said, but I've also got another group of enemies, those that are neutral. They don't make a stand for me at all. In reality, they do absolutely nothing. Because see, you and I today, since we always think of the atheist, we always think of the agnostic as being enemies of Jesus Christ. We always look at the cults that deny the deity of Christ himself as being his enemies. But Jesus makes it clear that not only are those against him his enemies, but those who are neutral. I'm going to read that verse 23, in a couple of other versions of Scripture, because I just like the way some other translations put it, and it'll make it real simple to you, and it'll really bring it out for you. I'm going to read it from the Living Bible. The Living Bible says it like this: anyone who is not for me is against me. If he isn't helping me, he's hurting my cause. If you're not helping me, Jesus says, even though you're neutral, well, Jesus, I'm not against you. I'm just not doing nothing. Jesus says, if you're not helping me, you're already against me. Look at it read again in the Message Bible. The Message Bible reads it like this: this is a war, and there is no neutral ground. If you're not on my side, you're the enemy. And if you're not helping, you're making things worse. Wow. Now, I know this is a little hard to digest this morning, because all of us have some people in mind, probably some people that we know, probably some people that we even love, maybe even family members, that they're not Christians, but they're not bad people, right? They're good, moral people. But saints, let me just tell you the truth this morning, because that's really what church is all about. It's really about the truth. The truth of the matter is that there is no neutral ground. Sometimes when people are neutral, we automatically put them in the category of being Christian, especially when it's somebody that we love and it's someone that we care for, or it's someone that we've experienced who has been nice. They're a good moral person. So we don't know what their standing is obviously they may not be a Christian, but they're a great person. And so we just kind of move them over. We kind of just push them over into the category of being godly, or we push them over into the family of God. But Jesus made it clear. He says, look, even those people, if you're not doing anything, you're already against me.